there is the solar eclipse. We're getting a 95.5% eclipse here in our area. A little bit further north it was 100%. But there it is. That's what it looks like. It's definitely kind of dark outside. I think we're at the peak of it right now. And the rooster started crowing a couple minutes ago. By the way, I'm doing this with a piece of cardboard with a little bitty pinhole in it. Did this when I was a kid. We had a partial eclipse when I was a kid in elementary school back in the late 70s, I'd say it was, and this is what we did back then. Hey guys, it is Tuesday and I'm on my way to the animal shelter to photograph the animals that need adopting. I have not been there in like 3 weeks. It's just been, you know, it's been one of those months, and I'm sure all of you are aware of that. So, going there today, I'm imagining there's probably going to be a whole lot of animals that need to be photographed, but hopefully I can power through and get it done pretty quickly. I stopped and got an iced coffee to take with me on the way. Had to run to the post office too, and it was right by the coffee shop. So I was trying to put my makeup on a little bit ago right before I left the house, and I got struck with a migraine as I'm putting on my makeup. So hopefully it doesn't look like a hot mess under these sunglasses. Hard to put makeup on when you can't see half of your face. Lovely, lovely, lovely. My vision's coming back. I mean, there's still like some spots in my vision, but I can see fine. It's just kind of like when you have a flash go off in your vision, or a sun reflection off of a vehicle, how you have those spots. That's kind of where I'm at right now. So, took some migraine medication or some headache stuff, you know, like that Excedrin migraine. It works pretty good. Thankfully I don't get migraines very often, just once in a while. I don't need any sort of like prescriptions anymore or anything like that, so I'll be fine. I'll be fine. There's probably a storm rolling in. Actually, I think there is. I think it's supposed to storm tomorrow, so the system's approaching, therefore headache. That's how it works for me. Hey guys, Constance here. So today I want to talk to you about a topic that many new chicken owners ask about, and that is, how do you merge flocks together, integrate new chickens with older chickens? And it's something that, like I said, a lot of people ask about, because at some point, if you raise chickens, you're going to want to add new ones to the flock. And how can you do that without there being mass trauma? And the reason I say that is because chickens are very aggressive. Chickens are territorial, they don't like new things, they don't like new chickens, and they're going to attack the new ones. And that's just chicken nature. It's just the way it is. So the sooner you understand that, the easier this is going to go. So the number one thing that you need to do is you need a way for the old chickens to be able to see the new chickens and yet still be separated. And there's a few different ways that you can do that. I've used 3 different ways here on the homestead, and I'll talk to you briefly about those 3 different methods. The first method is using a chicken tractor. Now I have a chicken tractor that I built last year. Originally it was a prototype for a rabbit tractor. And when I built it, I actually had a hen who had gone broody and had hatched out chicks. So I had 12 brand new little fluffy babies, but they couldn't yet be with the big flock because the big chickens would have attacked and killed the babies. And so what I did is I moved all of those young ones once they were big enough to be outside, because it was still kind of cool. It was February, March. And once they were big enough, they were fully feathered, I moved them out here all into the chicken tractor. That chicken tractor I kept inside my electric fence. So not only were the young chicks protected from the big chickens by the chicken tractor, but then they were also protected by predators because of the electric fence around the entire area. So the young chickens actually grew up around the older chickens, and they were all used to each other. Then once the young ones were almost as big as the adults, nearly full grown, we went ahead and we merged the flocks. And the way we did that was we waited until dark, and we took the young ones and we very carefully brought them in and set them inside the coop at night while everybody was asleep. And then the next morning the chickens all woke up and everybody was just there. We went ahead and opened up the coop early in the morning so everybody could get out and run around and do their thing, and there was very little pecking that went on. I noticed that the younger chickens all kind of stuck together and avoided the older ones, and that's normal. They're used to each other. They're not used to all the rest of those chickens. And so that was the first way that we did it, by using the chicken tractor. That does tend to be my favorite way of merging groups of chickens. But now if you don't have a chicken tractor, there are a couple other ways of doing it. Another way is to have a completely separate area for your chickens. Now I currently have some brand new adult chickens that I'm introducing to the rest of my flock, but as of right now they have their own chicken coop. I have an A-frame scrappy coop that I made out of scrap materials, and at this point the new girls all have that coop to themselves. They also have, you can see right here, I've got a smaller fenced area. This is just for the new girls. Right now they're up in the shade, so they're not out here in the grass, but they have their own little coop. They have a run inside the fenced area, and then they have a pasture that they can come out to. The run area is divided off with just fencing, and what that does is it allows all of my original flock to see the new girls. It lets the new girls see the original flock, and so again they're getting used to each other. Now I'll keep them separated for a good while, several weeks, maybe a couple months. It really is going to depend on your chickens and how they do. If you integrate them too quickly, there's going to be a lot of fighting. So sometimes you have to let it go for quite a while. Just depends on the situation that you have. So you have the chicken tractor method, you have the separate area living space method, but then say you've got just one or two chickens that you want to integrate into the flock. Another method that you can use is a dog crate, and I did actually use that method just very recently. When I got my new girls, I also was given a pair of Japanese black-tailed whites. Now, I didn't really have another place to put a whole separate group of chickens, so I did something that's generally not advised. I put the new Japanese black-tailed whites in with my original Jappies who are living in the chicken tractor, and I watched them very closely. Now the new hen of the Jappies did fine. Everybody just kind of left her alone. She just fit right in with the others. However, the new rooster did not get along with my original little rooster, and they were going to fight. And so what I did was I pulled the new rooster out and I put him in a dog crate inside the chicken coop. And I have a feed bag attached to the top of it, so when all of my hens are up on their roosts and they're pooping, because that's what they do, they weren't going to poop on top of the little rooster. He lived in there for a few days, and then after a few days we went ahead and let him out just to see what was going to happen. And for the most part, the hens just ignored him, and it went very, very well. But because he was inside that chicken coop, again, they were seeing him, they were used to him, he was part of the flock, and so when I let him loose, it went fairly smoothly. Now, had they started attacking him, had it become an issue, I'd have put him back inside that dog crate and just left him there a little bit longer. He had food, he had water, and there's plenty of ventilation inside my coop, so he was nice and cool in there. Some of my hens will actually go in there to stay cool during the day, out of the sun, so I wasn't too worried about him being in there. But like I said, he just lived in there for a few days, and then we did a little experiment to see how he did, and it was fine. So to recap, when you're integrating chickens, number one, you want them to be close to the same size. You want young ones to be nearly fully grown so that they can run away, they can defend themselves, and they're not vulnerable. Number two, you want there to be a way that they can live next to each other, see each other, interact with each other, but still be separated for their safety. And three, you want to let them live that way long enough that they're used to each other, so that when you do integrate with them together, preferably at night, there's little to no strife between them. So there you go. If you have any questions or you have any other tips on integrating chicken flocks, merging them together, please leave them in the comments down below, or if you have any questions, please leave those down below as well, and I will get to them. Thanks for watching, you guys, and I will talk to you all next time.